You've heard about this Asian hate thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. There was a woman in New York, a giant crazy man, ended up beating her. It turns out that he, did you guys hear about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually killed his mom, and then
Was on parole.
That was a couple years ago, yeah. Before the.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. He didn't kill. He didn't kill his mom.
Just kill her and just start beating Asian women. Yeah.
So the Stop Asian Hate thing, it's wild. I feel like some of it is. I feel like half of it is like a real thing, and then the other half is just kind of played up for news and stuff. Like that crazy guy. Did he assault? Did the person he assault happen to be Asian? Sure. But did he assault her because she's Asian? We don't know because he's a crazy guy. He might have thought his mom came back as an Asian woman and then wanted to finish the job, right?
You may be surprised, but I'm 100% for stopping the Asian hate.
Sure.
So me being a gentleman who dabbles in dating Asian women and knowing the history and everything behind kind of what's going on, I don't think it's being played up whatsoever. I just think now people are hearing about it because they've kept quiet about it for so long. People didn't really want to bring that up and cause a stir, but honestly, it's been a problem for a while.
Like a catalyst.
Exactly. Yeah. This is the catalyst that kind of, or the straw that broke the camel's back, and now it's out there publicly, and especially with our past president, who kind of decided to choose to, and we've had this coronavirus, calling it the China virus. I don't know what that made people think, that every single person who of Asian descent had some sort of virus or was bringing some sort of bacteria or whatever to the United States. But we saw the same thing after 9/11 when everybody started attacking Middle Eastern people and Arabs and everything else like that. Stopping the Asian hate is just now being brought to light. And there's some serious issues there.
But the one guy who attacked the old lady,
he was crazy.
A literally crazy person. So did he attack her because she was Asian? Was that Asian hate? Or did it just happen to be an Asian woman, and then the Asian hate is put on
applied?
There?
Well, here's
to sell a
sure, we don't know, but that isn't the first incident that happened of a random woman being beaten by a random man. That has happened a couple of times recently that have been in the news, and it's almost like it's something that was catching on, just like when you'd see 14-year-old kids in YouTube videos playing the knockout game. It almost seems like it's something that people were just trying to do because they were seeing it in social media or on the news, and this is how they
targeted?
I think she could have been targeted. Yes, most definitely.
I think the guy was just crazy. I think it was crazy, and I think it could have been anybody.
I mean, was his mom Asian?
In that specific example. I'm talking about that specific
example. Specific example. You know what I mean? He's right. You're crazy. You have no idea why he did it. But at the same time, you can't negate the fact that he did do something like that, and it was towards an Asian woman, where all of this is happening. All of this Stop Asian Hate is happening. And for some reason, people are pissed off that Asian people don't want to be hurt. They don't want to be attacked. And for some reason, that's an issue. Like, why would that be an issue?
I don't think, now, maybe some people feel like that. I don't feel like that. I just feel like almost anything that goes on where it becomes a hot button thing, that stuff might not be that hot button thing is attributed to that hot button thing because people love a good panic.
Yeah,
like people
clickbait.
love to just group things together and apply what do you call it?
A narrative?
Yeah, like apply a narrative to something. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying there's Asian women aren't sexualized or not sexualized,
Right.
but fetishized or whatever.
Yes, exactly. That's something.
Lots of I'm sure lots of Asian hate crimes that are actually Asian hate crimes exist.
Yeah.
But I just thought that this one story kind of stood out because a guy turns out to be mentally fucking insane, and so mentally insane he killed his mom. You know?
Right.
Like,
yeah. But when you look at it too, the Stop Asian Hate just isn't about this one incident of a crazy guy. And I know this is the particular the particular event you're deciding to bring up. But there's
because
definitely,
I thought it was just I think
Yeah.
crazy people are funny. I mean, it's not funny when they try to kill people.
No.
But crazy people, I thought the narrative was funny, and then how it changed. I thought that was funny. Oh, it
Yeah.
turns out to be a mentally insane person that could have done that to anybody. We don't know why. And even if it turns out that he did it because she was Asian, it's like, well, this is a mentally insane person. So, you know, like, why, you know,
I have a question too.
what's happening?
So, like, if you're saying the Stop Asian Hate trend is because of the Wuhan virus, the Chinese virus, right? That people are associating China with spreading the disease. So, more appropriately, shouldn't it be like Stop Chinese Hate? I mean, if
No.
you say Asian, there's a lot of different sections
Here's the problem.
of Asia.
Yep.
And everybody in Asia will tell you the difference. Like if you mistake a Korean person for Chinese when you're in the Orient, you're gonna be lambasted.
Yeah.
If you mistake a Japanese person for a Chinese or Taiwanese or whatever, they are very particular about who they are and don't get it twisted.
Right.
It's
So
just
for
like if you
us-
call an Irish person British, they're like, fuck you, dude.
Right.
I ain't
Right.
fucking British.
Yes, and they all
I ain't
know
one
the
of those-
difference when you're in that land.
People
So-
here don't know the difference.
Correct. So Stop Asian Hate is really a broad category. I don't think it's
But it's
really
happening
designed.
to all Asians. It's not just happening to Chinese because people here don't understand.
Is it
How
really
many-
happening though? I mean, what are the stats?
How many times
They're
have people
seeing
come up to you going, "Hey, so where are you from?" And then you say,
I
"Do you
live in
say
South Lyon."
okay?" But are they expecting to hear what your nationality is? Because when people and I see
No.
this all the time
No.
when people walk up to Asian, male, female, whoever, they're like, "Where are you from?" And then they'll say, "Oh, I'm from California." They're like, "No, where are you from?"
Well,
They
do
want
they
their,
have?
they want their ethnicity.
They don't. They want their ethnicity, but they're coming at
Yeah.
them at a totally different, which I would see
So is
as
that
racist.
hate? Is that Asian hate to ask a
Well, that's one of those things that's called, what is that called? Where
microaggression?
Yeah. Because if somebody asks that question, now I've been asked that question. A black chick in Vegas asked me that question. Now maybe
Where you're from?
Maybe it was because I was on rollerblades, and
And you're
You know,
pasty?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But she wasn't asking that because she wanted to know my ethnicity or
Yeah.
if I was a American national. She was asking that question with no loaded premises. Unlike what you're talking about, when
Yeah.
people ask Asian people or any ethnic people, right? Mm-hmm. And especially like maybe if they're talking, they got an accent.
Right.
It's like
Especially if they have an accent. Even if someone has a southern accent.
now.
I know they're not
assuming
from here.
that there's like racist connotations in there. There may be, but there also might not be. But if the person being asked that kind of feels that way, then, you know, it's kind of like you probably shouldn't ask that question.
Ignorance is still racism, and even something as simple as that still comes off as very racist because you really wouldn't run up to somebody just like, hey, like I said, I'm not going to run up to you, Chege, and be like, "Where are you from?" And you're going to be like, "South Lyon." I go, "No, aren't you from Hungary? Why didn't you tell me Hungary?" You know, like,
Because he's not from Hungary.
Well, ethnically,
I know,
ethnically,
but
he is.
you've never
But
been there.
But that's what he's
right?
talking about.
right,
Right.
Yeah, right. But
the people, a lot of people here, a lot of Asians were born here. They weren't born in
Then
the
guess
country
what?
where
They
they're
don't have an
ethnically
yeah,
from.
it's like where are you from?
can definitely tell.
San Diego. Yeah, but
No,
where are you
They
from?
do because
Like,
their family still does, and they still speak languages. I dated a girl. She was born in the United States. Her family was born in the Philippines. She still had an accent because her family still spoke Tagalog. So she
chose to.
It's not a choosing; it's a family lifestyle. It's how they will grow up.
My dad moved to the U.S. when he was a kid, and from England, and he dropped his accent right away because he was being targeted for bullying.
Yeah.
So, like, you choose to keep it. You choose to pronounce words that
your father chose to. You didn't. I mean, if he still spoke with his accent, I'm sure you growing up, you probably would still have an accent because you're around it all the time. You know.
I mean, but people who I know people who parents are from another country and they do keep an accent. It doesn't mean that the child's going to have the accent. They may say certain words a certain way.
Sure.
But I'm saying if you...
I think we're getting really hung up on accents here.
We are.
Because that would be the precursor for me to ask someone where they're from. If I hear them talking a different way that sounds different than the accent that I have, then I can assume they're not from where I'm from.
I've done that before, and I'm doing that to... I'm not doing that
I don't think it's
to
racist.
target
I don't think
them.
it's racist.
Well, it's not that it is or isn't racist. It's that the intent might not be racist, but it might be assumed it's racist. But I've done that before with people who are, they got an accent or whatever, but it's always because they're like new. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'll work at a place and it's a new person. And it's like, yo, where are you from? Like, I'm not asking that because I want to judge them based on their ethnicity, But
no, I just think
do.
There's other questions you can ask instead of just that broad-brushed, where are you from? Because now that has so many different meanings. But your expectation is to hear what country are they from, not where are they actually from when, I live down the block on 10 Mile in Rushton. Right?
Yes. I'm assuming that they're from somewhere not here.
Right.
You know what I mean? But so
you can't just assume that stuff, though.
I've been to other countries. Well, yeah, but it's not assuming. There's assumptions involved, but like I've been to other countries. If an American goes to another country, this might not be bad because this might not be a good example because like Americans,
they're going to ask where you're from.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they can tell you're not from there.
If you go to Japan or China,
certainly,
and me or you are walking around China, and people don't know American accents or they don't know, who knows, and they might ask you, yo, where are you from? Is that racist?
It's only racist if you're like a Chinese American that's from Connecticut. It's only racist if you're that person and then they ask you where you're from.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, I
see what you're saying, but it's not really clearing anything up. Well, this is a road.
It's just a question.
Right.
I'm just saying. Like, if I'm in a different country where everybody else looks different than me, America's a little bit different because it's a melting pot.
So are you just going up to random Asian people here, just assuming that they're here visiting, going, where are you going? Where you from? No. So are you going to have random people in other countries coming up to you to say that? No. You have definitely, like you said, if it's somebody new in the workplace, obviously they got a job at this place. They filled out their proper paperwork. They're some sort of citizen or they're here on a visa. So they're here in the United States. They're establishing something. And then you go up to them and you say, hey, where are you from? And you want to know what country they're from.
Or maybe I'm just breaking the ice.
Yeah. You want to get to know a person.
You see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, you can break the ice totally 100 different ways. I think walking up to a random person, not even asking them their name first, and just going, where are you from? Hey, like.
I probably would ask their name first, then I'd probably introduce myself second, and then I would want to know where are you staying at currently.
But how many people?
What's your address?
How many people, because of your skin, come up to you and ask you where you're from? Just want to know where you're from. Because it doesn't happen to you.
I've been at black barbecues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And they say, where
is
you
this
from?
an everyday occurrence for you?
No.
Okay.
No,
right.
No.
See, this is something that is almost an everyday occurrence for that. This is, to you, it's happened to you maybe 3-4 times a year max.
Yeah, not that much.
So
nowhere near those.
So this doesn't affect you like it affects other people. This happens to all the time.
But what I'm talking about is the intent of somebody asking that. You don't really know. What I'm saying is it might be something that is like a racial microaggression. It might be inappropriate, but it also might not be.
Yeah.
So to assume that it's always inappropriate to ask somebody where
No,
they're
it's
from,
not.
that's a
But
different
it's
ethnicity.
when they answer and they say, you know, where are you from? And they're like, oh, I'm from San Jose, California. And then they go to the point, no, where are you from?
Yeah, right.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yes, and that's something different because that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking
So
about.
there we
Yeah.
Yeah, and the all right, the Asian hate with the AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander
Yep.
hate. I don't like it because it's too close to API, which is application programming interface, and I think that the closeness is kind of wild because like there's lots of Asian people in computing. You know what I mean?
It's ironic.
You'd think if you were the head of the AAPI, you'd be like, is that too close to API? You know, it's like Asian people. Isn't there like a stereotype like we're good with numbers and computers and stuff? Shouldn't we maybe pick something else? You know?
Okay, I like the fact that he was like, yeah, maybe we should pick something else for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because I don't want to tie it too in closely to say, you know, well, okay, they're good, you know, whatever, but like, yeah, maybe they should pick something else.
I mean, AAPI.
Yeah.
And it's
But also
like
think about it too, Chege. Before you brought API up, I'm not intelligent enough to really actually know what API was, so it doesn't affect me as much as it may affect you. I don't know about you, Leah, but I'm kind of
that's
ignorant.
why we're in Chegeland.
Right.
And you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh no, I understand.
As soon as I heard AAPI, I was just like, API? AAPI? And then I'm looking up what AAPI is, and like the first thing that comes up is API. And
Yeah.
then,
Did you mean
and then it's
API?
AAPI, and then it's Asian American Pacific Islander, and the whole Asian American or attaching American to something is really irritating to me because it's like just say Asian, like especially with Asian.
Or just say American.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you're talking about their ethnicity. So American is a nationality, right? You're a United States citizen, you're American citizen, but it's not your ethnicity. So those are two different things. Like I'm Hungarian, Sicilian, Welsh, American.
But we don't go around saying that about you, do we? We don't. We're like, oh, you know, he's Hungarian.
No, it's just American.
He's American.
But even with the AAPI, even with
Yeah, but I don't even like being called an American.
We don't go walk around going, oh, yo, big country. What are you, Polish? Oh, look, he's just Polish. Don't worry about him. You know, like.
Not anymore. They used to.
Yeah, they did used to, but they don't anymore. There you go.
Because it's all just been so
we're all
intertwined.
Damien's people have learned how to screw in light bulbs and.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, he gave up confections for Lent. You know, great.
What is that one? I don't even know that one.
What? Fat Tuesday, dog? Punchkis. Why do you think they make?
Yeah.
it's
I'm not a
Fat
fan of
Wednesday.
punchkis. I don't like the word punchki. I don't. There's too many.
Oh, I love just saying it. It's sexy. Punchki. Oh, punchki.
I was going to say with the AAPI, it actually, if you're talking about like this is someone's ethnic heritage and that they have an identity here, it actually is detracting from your ethnic heritage because you're putting all these people into one category just based on what? The way that you might look physically. It has nothing to do with your actual ethnicity, so it's not really preserving anything. It's putting you into a new category based on what you look like.
Well, because the violence or the racism is because of what they look like. You know what I'm saying?
I guess, yeah.
Like it's not because.
But doesn't that seem?
It's not because they're Japanese from the land of Japan.
Doesn't it seem demeaning though, in its own category, in its categorization of it? I would be. People say it with the Latinx. Like there's a difference. There's a difference between Hispanic and Latino or Latinx, and like the people who actually are technically in that category aren't really pleased with the labeling of it. So I would have to assume that there's some people.
I've heard that like that's just an American thing, like the Latinx.
All of this is an American thing. I mean, obviously the AAPI, Asian American.
But the Latinx specifically, it's like nobody anywhere south of the border is saying like, "Excuse me, it's not Latino." It's Latinx.
Right. It's a very small fraction.
The wokest parts of the wokest cities is where you're hearing
And I categorize it.
Latinx and
Latinx.
Latinx. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it on Facebook all over the place. There's some pretty woke people I've seen. When the BIPIC and Latinx and everything, I didn't understand Latinx for a while. I literally had to ask people what was going on.
Yeah.
And, a lot of the cooks I work with are from Guatemala and Honduras and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They're
what do
I
they
have
think?
no idea. What are you talking about? What do you tell me what it is? And I'm like, I don't know.
What'd you just say to me?
Yeah.
What do you
How
call
do
me?
they feel about the expression?
That's exactly how they felt. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Please tell me.
It's really just mostly a white woke thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Asian hate, if you want to stop Asian hate and you're an Asian, what you do is you just go get yourself a gun. See this? You can keep this on you. If you're being attacked, you can point this, pull the trigger, and end the attack. Now, just to be clear, you want to make sure that somebody stays. You want to keep them 10 feet away from you so they don't grab your gun and shoot you with it, But that's how you stop Asian hate. It's really a pretty simple problem.
In this country, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, assuming you can get a gun and, it's legal in the city you're at and whatever.
Make sure you don't have a felony,
Yeah, like in New York, that old Asian woman, if she would have had a pistol on her, would she have been charged with a crime for defending herself against a 7-foot mentally deranged person?